Hello, everyone, and welcome for joining the WooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call. We're going to get started here in just a second, but before we do, if you would be so kind just to confirm that you can hear my voice as well as see my screen, which should say WooPlayer Q&A on it. And once you confirm that in the chat box, we can get started. Thank you. All right, great. It looks like we're getting a couple confirmations that everything is all right with audio and video, so we're good to go. Great. So just a brief introduction. My name is Peter. I am the product manager of WooPlayer, and we are holding these weekly Q&A webinar calls in order to answer any questions that you as users may have, also to provide training on any advanced features, gather feedback on how we can keep improving WooPlayer, and also to showcase new stuff that we've been working on, mostly developed by feedback that you guys as users provide. So the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. At any time that you have a question, just feel free to drop it in the chat box, and at that time we'll just answer them in the order that they come in. Don't be shy, don't be holding back questions. If you came prepared with questions, now would be a good time just to put them in the chat box. In the meantime, I just want to run through a few of the updates with regards to WooPlayer. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about new developers joining the team. So they joined the team last week. So we're still kind of in the onboarding process, but we're wrapping that up and we're slowly integrating them in our development processes, which means which increases the ability of us to develop things much more quickly and move things faster off ground and get some wind in our sails, which was much needed. So that's a welcomed improvement to the team. So that's one of the things that we've been working on throughout the last week. One more thing that I think you guys will appreciate. So let me pull this up. We have just recently integrated a product board, an ideas board, a suggestions box, if you will, of sorts to WooPlayer. So this comes with the release of WooPlayer from today. So this should be available in all of your guys' application. So if you click on documentation and support over here in the toolbar, there should be a new item which is called submit and vote on ideas, which will bring up this product board with things that we have currently in planned improvements and also things which are currently under consideration. So for example, we are currently considering translation and localization for video management or additional video resolutions, or with regards to different integrations requests, we're considering integrations with ConvertKit or YouTube channel and so on. So all of these are some ideas that are currently under consideration. And also there's a tab which highlights some of the things which have recently launched, and that's going to give you a brief outline of all of the product updates, major product updates aside from some simple debugging. So basically, you have the ability to come over here and on any of these features, so for example, personalized data in videos, if you want to give significance to that idea, or if you want to provide your own opinion on that idea, you can just click on it, and then you can provide your feedback on that idea and give it some priority. Is this a nice to have feature? Is this an important feature if this is critical for you? And also to provide some context with regards to how you plan to utilize this feature and why it is important to you. So a couple of things that this accomplishes. One is, of course, visibility with regards to the things that we are considering and planning and actively developing. Also the visibility of things which are being recently launched. So you are on always up to date with regards to the things which have recently launched, and we'll kind of integrate this system with the messaging platform, so you're also available to get more detailed updates on that. So that's one thing. The second thing is what we're really glad with is that we are now able to take you users and other people who are interacting with WooPlayer and get you involved in the development process, get you engaged with the development process much more directly, which means that now all of your feedback will be directly attributed to our product board, meaning that the feedback will get allocated correctly and get prioritized correctly, meaning that we will have hopefully a much direct communication between the things which are important to you and the things which we are developing, just making sure that we get good alignment on that. An additional benefit, of course, is the validation of new things which we're working on. So if we are considering something that we think would be a good enhancements to the application, we'll add that to the board and let you guys kind of provide your opinion on how you see that, how you see the utilization of that feature panning out, rather than us just spending months on a particular feature which carries no value for the users. So that's why we wanted to provide something that allows you to provide feedback on individual items and individual factors which are involved with the WooPlayer environment as a whole. So aside, of course, from being able to comment on and vote on individual things which are already listed here, you are also able to submit a brand new idea. So if you have an idea which is not on the board, you are able to submit a new idea and then let us know what's important to you and what you think WooPlayer should develop next, and that way we can prioritize that on our end and allocate it to our roadmap as we move forward. So this is one of the things that we've integrated with this release. As I said, this is currently available in the application. If you click on the documentation and support icon and click on submit and vote on ideas, a new item which is highlighted over here in orange. Aside from that, you can also access it directly. If you don't want to log into the application, you can just visit wooplayercom/ideas, and that will bring up that same exact board. However, this will require you to, well, actually I'm already logged in, but if you're not logged in as a WooPlayer user previously, then it will require you to log in. So if you're using it from the application, you're automatically going to be logged into the product board as well, which is kind of great, and it's going to kind of help with the process of allocating relevant feedback to relevant features. All right, so we'll see how this goes. We'll keep updating it with feedback. We can't wait to start receiving actual feedback. So basically, up until now, we've been collecting everything in our project management system, and then we've kind of translated some of the major topics from there to this board. So hopefully it resonates. Some of these things are resonating. So these are probably the most requested features which we've received thus far. So you're going to be probably, and a lot of them came from the webinar sessions. So hopefully you're going to be able to find yourselves among these and hopefully provide us with some additional feedback. The bottom line is really once we get to developing a feature, so if we get to developing personalized data in videos, further, then we're going to be able to open up personalized data in videos and see all of the feedback which was provided. So, for example, Luis and Shade and Alan and Dave, everybody provided, provided feedback to this feature. Then whilst we're developing this feature, we're going to be able to pull up individual items and say, Dean said it would be great if we had the ability for mapping the country. William said it would be great if we had different time zones, and so on and so on. So feedback such as this is really going to help us once we get to developing the actual features. So hopefully you find this engaging and worthwhile, and just continue providing us with feedback. It really helps us. It's just another tool aside from the webinar to continue motivating us to accommodate your guys' use cases. A couple of questions. Will these ideas and follow-ups be visible to all of us or only to the person posting the idea. So the way that this the way that this works is kind of open and public, and that's why we kind of wanted to keep it as such. So basically, feedback which you provide directly. So for instance, if you came over here into this personalized data and videos and you started writing comments on that, then that would be visible to everybody, and we want to kind of keep it that way. So it's relevant with regards to who wants what and why, and some use cases, and it helps people get motivated about features once they see that other people are motivated, and it also allows for sharing of use cases. So for example, if you're interested in personalized data in videos, you can say, this will be great for me because I can have this variable showcase the user's first name. However, if somebody else comes and they review that feedback and say, well, hey, this is a great idea, I never thought about using it that way. So that way people will resonate more with the ideas which are shared in this. Louis is saying product board, great idea. I did send you a question a few weeks ago regarding not linking the way the download option works. Did you not spot that? Oh, we'll get to that. I just have a couple of more announcements I want to make. So if you turn to the product board and come over here to the recently launched tab, you will see that we just recently launched the ability to apply player settings or templated player settings to all already created videos. So what this does is enables users to replace or apply player settings from a templated video to already created videos. So the way that this works is if you are on your VooPlayer dashboard and you have a video which you want to use as a template to replicate setting across different videos, you now have the ability to select 1, 2, 3, however many videos, and then come over here up top where it says group videos and apply player settings. So you can just switch to this tab which says apply player settings, find the video which you want to, whose player settings you want to apply to the 3 which are already selected, and then just click on apply settings to 3 videos from the selected video. So this is something that got a lot of feedback throughout the webinars for a lot of different use cases. So people who were, for example, somebody, I can't remember who this was, but somebody uploaded 500 videos through the mass import feature, and they didn't click on the apply player settings, and now they had to go through the individual player settings and modify them. So the ability to do that, ability to upload a lot of ability to apply the player settings if some of the template settings have changed. So if after a while you decide that the theme is not working out, or that the opt-in which you're using in hundreds of videos would be better placed somewhere else or better wording, now you have the ability to overwrite all of those settings rather quickly. All right, that's one more thing I wanted to say. This is somewhat irrelevant to some of you, but I just want to announce it just to state it for the record if we want to get back to it at a later time. We have also integrated the ability to increase the file size upload limit. So by default, for all of the users, the ability to upload a file is limited to files up to 3 gigabytes, and we're keeping it that way. But basically, upon request, which we want to review and kind of get to know the use context of whoever needs more. So if you need 5 gigabytes, if you need a limit of, if you want to upload a file which is 5 gigabytes, we will gladly increase that limit to 5 gigabytes. We just want to kind of understand your use case a little bit better before we enable you to do so. We could have it at, so the kind of the balancing there is we could have it set at unlimited, but that opens up the possibility for 20 different people coming with uploading 20 gigabyte files, and that severely impacting the conversion capacities for other users. So we want to kind of balance that and still kind of keep an eye on the levels before we go too wild on it. So for now, if you need to upload files which are larger than 3 gigabytes, just reach out to us at support@woolplayer.com, and we'll gladly increase that limit to whatever is needed for you, provided that you will not abuse the system. All right, so that's the ability to increase the file size. Also worth mentioning, there were several enhancements with regards to removing WooPlayer references from the white labeled sites. I think optimizations with regards to the watch links and some domain restrictions with regards to handling of SSL and so on and so on. So there's been a lot of optimization there, general debugging and improvements in performance optimizations as always. With regards to just a couple of things which are kind of coming down the pipeline, which I want to kind of highlight just so you have some expectations. We have a major performance optimization initiative which we launched a couple of weeks ago with the new developers onboarded, and I don't want to set some wrong expectations, but the last time we did some sort of a benchmark testing with regards to the performance of that new method, we had results of up to 3 times faster video loading. So if general video loading is, let's say, 1 second, with the new method, which we are currently working on implementing, that optimization brings it down the load time to 0.3 seconds for the video to be autoplayed, which is a great optimization. It's somewhat of an intensive process with regards to implementing all of that, but we are actively working on that, and that's one of the focuses of what we want to optimize. So that's one of the things that we're working on. And the second thing which we are actively developing is a major enhancement to the overlays and annotations. So I'm not demonstrating that currently. I just want to kind of give you some reference point. We're revamping the entire interface and in the entire functionality of overlays and annotations by bringing in pre-made templates. So a template for anything from simple annotations to complex product promotions to coupon boxes to customized calls to action, which are really converting well. So we're bringing in a lot of templates from proven marketing campaigns that we've seen work previously in the past, and we want to bring in those templates into our overlaying system, which will make creating overlays which are really complex with buttons and images and some really advanced interactions pretty straightforward to make. So that's another thing which we're currently working on, which we're hoping to. Both of these things are not easy things, and we're kind of continuing to focus on them. So I think the first glimpses of them are going to start showing in about a month or so. All right, let's that's it for the announcements. Let me just kind of scroll back through the questions. I kind of skipped through something. I just kind of wanted to get those announcements out of the way. So let's see. We got a question. Recently, you responded to a question on Facebook page regarding sending videos inside of email. You said that this was about to change due to new releases that will support inline video feedback. Can you give us any more information about this significant update, and when is this likely to happen? So the changes which I was referring to, important to note, are only reflecting the iOS and Mac default system clients. So the emails will not work. The videos will not play inside of the emails if you are utilizing Gmail or if you're utilizing Yahoo. And so the context of use here is really limited to basically anything that Apple products are opening up natively through their mail integrations. So that's a pretty, even though that covers a large size of the email client market, we're still not definitely confident. It's something that we want to cover, but by doing that, it opens us up to a vulnerability of people saying, well, hey, you said that that my videos are going to work in email clients, but they're not working in Gmail and so on. So we're kind of exploring currently the right way to pitch this, because the expectation is really it's going to work in Apple mail clients and nothing else, at least for now. But it's something. The tendency there is that email client providers are being more and more open towards supporting video, and that's definitely something that we want to catch up on with. So it's definitely one of the things that we are actively considering, is just that kind of we're kind of waiting for some critical mass to push us in that direction, but we haven't gotten to actively considering or working on that, which might be a great idea, Louis, to come over here to submit and vote on ideas, and just remind us of that, because that's actively not being tracked anywhere. So you just support WooPlayer to be played in email clients, and then when we can prioritize that and keep it in track, and other people can vote on that as well, and that way we'll get some momentum on that and start working on it. Let's see. I sent you a question a few weeks ago regarding not liking the way the download option works. Did you not spot it on the board? Did not spot it on the board as you pan through it? No, so not all of the items which are submitted as feedback, and that's also an important point of feedbacks. So performance of WooPlayer already got 3 votes, and that's great. Not everything that's submitted as feedback, especially not things which are considered as bugs, will not make it to. So we don't want to make this board into some sort of a ticketing system where the items are going to be added on here which are not going to be relevant to other people. So for example, if a button is not working the way it's supposed to work, we're just going to treat that as a bug and not as an idea of future improvements which we want to make to WooPlayer, and those things are not going to get added to this board and overcrowded with stuff like that. I don't know what your feedback with regards to the download option was, but I did not see it, so I'm not sure how it was handled. If you've spoken to somebody on the support team, maybe you can point to that as a reference. I'm not sure necessarily what was going on with that and what that feedback was, Louis, with regards to the download button. I see a lot of positive feedback with regards to the product board. I see that people are already starting to vote on the performance of WooPlayer, so that's great. That's really good. We want to be transparent with both the things which we think are improvements and also with things which are perhaps not performing up to par with regards to WooPlayer. We really want to be transparent with that and make sure that people are able to interact, and that's the thing that's going to give us momentum. That's the thing that's going to give us visibility into importance of things. So please, both positive and negative feedback are welcomed, and we are looking at them as nothing more than constructive means of helping us move in the right direction. So any feedback is appreciated. Dean is saying, I just added a comment into performance of WooPlayer video loading and shows my email. It should not show emails but names. All right, something to consider. We'll look into that. I think by default that platform is set to show users' names. Users' emails. Not necessarily sure how that because the product board is not a part of our system, and we didn't develop it. It's a service provided by a company called Product Board. So I'll reach out to them and see if there is an ability to utilize users' names rather than emails. A lot more positive feedback on the product board. That's great. Dean is pointing out that it will not work in Outlook with regards to the email. That's a great point. All right. Okay, understood. Bill responded, when you click download, it does not download there. It does not download there, but links to a WooPlayer watch page. member videos or just leaving my site to download, I don't want to happen. So I think I see what you're referring to. So if somebody clicks on the download button on the video, it opens up the video source in the new tab, from where basically somebody can just save that video file. However, you would prefer it if upon clicking on download, the download would automatically initiate, and that would start the download process directly from your web page, keeping people on it. So that makes a lot more sense now. So I didn't see that feedback, but I'll note it down. Download to not open up a new tab. Open up a new tab and rather download on the same page. Yeah, I agree. That's a much better experience for people of downloading videos rather than opening up a new tab. Just simply start downloading the file directly from that page. I'm not necessarily sure. I'll have to consult some of our developers with regards to the capacity to do that, but I'm sure that we can accommodate that sort of a download much faster. If not that, provide an ability of some other way to integrate that. Is there one standard analytical we should all use to measure page load speed? I use gtmetrics.com, which is amazingly detailed. What do you use? Maybe you can, we can all use the same benchmarking app. So the thing with benchmarking and different environments, basically with all the different tools, you're going to reach the same results more or less. The tricky part is that people are benchmarking different things. So if I test, so this is in response to Alan's question. So if I test my website with WooPlayer videos, it's going to behave a lot different than your website with WooPlayer videos, because not just the performance of the website on its own, but also the third-party integrations that website has, and so on and so on. So our sort of benchmarking approach is always to simply test the watch page for the video. Or the video page, however we're referring to it nowadays, I'm not sure. So if you, this is the link which should be tested for the performance optimization, because basically this page is what's loading inside of the embedded iframe on your web pages. So the performance of this page is basically all we're concerned with. If there are other things which are conflicting on your website with the WooPlayer embedded iframe, that's something that's completely out of our scope with regards to being able to optimize that, and we simply can't affect the page with and the assets and the order in which your pages are impacting performance of WooPlayer. So just to be clear for this on moving forward, when testing performance of WooPlayer as far as optimizations and the improvements which we want to make in the future, the way that we are testing this is through the publish page, which basically contains nothing more than a simple header, a simple footer, and WooPlayer. And this is, if you look at the iframe code, you will see that this is the source page which is being targeted. So this is the direct access to WooPlayer, and that's what we're testing for with regards to performance benchmarks. If there are other things on your site, that's going to convolute the performance test, and that's something that we're definitely not interested in doing, because everybody has their videos on different platforms. Some have them on WordPress, some have them on ClickFunnels, and I don't want to get into the specifics of all of that. Downloads, let's see, downloads would be great if current playing video remains visible. Downloads would be great if current playing videos remains visible. Yeah, it makes sense, William. That's what I was referring to. How noticeable is the difference between turbo and regular bandwidth? Is the speed dependable on the viewer's own internet connection speed? Of course. So What's the difference? So again, I think we talked about this, but it might not be a bad idea to kind of run through it one more time. So the difference between regular and turbo bandwidth is as follows. So our primary data center, where all of your videos are stored, which are uploaded to VooPlayer, is located in New York City. And when you are not using turbo bandwidth, so for example, if you're not enterprise, or if you are enterprise and have utilized all of your turbo bandwidth for the month, or if you have disabled turbo bandwidth on a particular video, then you are using regular bandwidth, meaning that you are pulling that video content directly from the NYC server. So that's regular bandwidth, and the speed of that video buffering is basically going to impact on how close you are to New York, combined with how fast your internet connection is. However, the advantage of turbo bandwidth is that turbo bandwidth caches your content, meaning the uploaded videos, from the New York location to over 40 global locations. So if you're somewhere, for example, if you're in Paris, that video will not get pulled, the video content will not get pulled from New York City, but it will get pulled from a location directly inside of Paris, which is still going to be impacted by your connection speed. It's what controls the flow of traffic from your computer to the outside world, so your connection speed is always going to be a factor. However, it's going to request assets from the location nearest to you rather than from the New York City main database, or sorry, not database, data center. So that's kind of the difference between that. As far as how noticeable that difference is, it really depends on your location and on how fast your internet connection is. Basically, what you're asking is what's the difference between accessing a website which is hosted in NYC and the one, for example, if you're in Florida, Louis, the one which is in Tampa. Sometimes that's milliseconds, but sometimes those milliseconds really count. Thanks, Dean. Yes, I'm using both since adding videos and adding next HTTPS. It's gone slow, as Peter is referring to. Should we communicate on a... No. So yeah, all right, that makes sense. Yeah. Also, FYI, just so you guys are aware, everything, not only feedback that comes. So we're currently importing some things which come through the chat, through the support channels, but also basically anything that's posted on the Facebook group will also get added to the admin side of the product board. So just so you guys are aware, anything that that you post on the Facebook group from now on the VooPlayer Facebook group, will get marked as feedback for review inside of the product board system, which is pretty great. Just so you're aware of that, also, so you don't need to kind of note, please mark this as feedback. It will automatically get added as feedback into here. YouTube have a theater size option for playback, giving 3 options. Would that work with VooPlayer or not practical because of different website setup? I'm not sure what you mean by different, have a theater size option for playback, giving 3 options. Would that work with VooPlayer or not practical because of different website setups? I'm not sure what theater size is. Are you referring to the video resolution of the files if we're talking about performance? If so, Louis, then I would like to point out that files uploaded to VooPlayer, so for example, if we take this testing larger video file, are optimized to several resolutions. And I'm just going to open up this file so we can get it into here. So size of playback, yeah. So you'll see that files which are uploaded to VooPlayer, if they are, I don't know if you can see over here where I'm pointing. Let me just kind of try and zoom in a little bit. So you can see that this video has been optimized to HD. This is full HD, this is HD, and this is 360. So files uploaded to WooPlayer are converted to smaller resolutions to impact the ability of the user's bandwidth to handle that sort of a file. So if we detect a low internet connection speed, will default automatically to the 365p, 360p video resolution. So that's already kind of taken care of in WooPlayer, but that unfortunately applies only to the videos which are uploaded to WooPlayer. If you are linking to videos from external sources such as YouTube or Dropbox or something like that, there we have no capacity to impact the resolution which we want to serve. That basically is up to the external provider to provide us with the right source file, and then we just basically serve it up through WooPlayer. Oh, I see what you're saying. Theater mode for switching the size of the player. No, that's not something that we've considered. But yeah, that's a very good point, because that will definitely impact the based on how the websites are configured. But yeah, a lot of video players are doing something a lot similar, which is kind of, I've seen a lot of people doing this, like adding a little light bulb into the control bar, and it's like turn off the lights. So when playback starts, you're kind of able to turn off the lights, which will kind of dim the entire web page and just leave the video player in full opacity. So things like that are something, again, which is valuable feedback. It's not something that we're currently supporting, or to be honest with you, kind of changing the size of the video player based on the interactions of the user whilst they're embedded on your web page is not something that we've considered, but I think it's rather valuable feedback. So people, please feel free to contribute that as feedback as well. I think that carries a lot of potential. It's just something that we kind of need to consider on how we're going to execute that, because it's one thing if you are on YouTube. You can't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can utilize the YouTube's theater mode feature if you have YouTube's player embedded on your website, which is kind of the limitation of that. Pop out Lightbox works well, yeah. That'll work well also. So you can also, for now, I think kind of, if you really want to focus viewers on viewing your video, it might be good just to utilize the pop-up code for embedding on your website, and then just having people focused on that content will work well. But pending on the feedback which we collect, I think additional options for expanding the player or for interacting with the web page somehow, like turn off the lights or something like that, is also something that's worth considering. So looking forward to all of that feedback. Could default WooPlayer videos be play in 360 by just clicking and holding the mouse? No, that's not something we've considered. So we're trying to be pretty smart about it and kind of detect the bandwidth speed. I don't see why you would want to limit something through 360. So we're kind of trying to figure out the connection speed, and based on that, optimize the resolution, serve the optimized resolution accordingly. So we don't want to necessarily, we haven't gone down that road of allowing users to hard code which version of the resolution should be played by default, but something to consider also. So let me write that down as well, because I think I've heard that once or twice before. So hard set value for the resolution, default value, let's call it that. All right. That's been a lot of good feedback and a lot of good ideas this week. So I want to thank you, everybody, for that. Kind of ran over time, but that's all well. It's been a productive meeting and a productive webinar, sorry. So thank you, everybody, for joining this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week as well, and hopefully you'll continue to contribute to optimizing Wool Player. So I want to thank you all for joining, and hopefully we'll see you next week. So thanks. Bye.